Alrighty, welcome back, everybody. Um, we are back here, and we are going through and dropping our live reactions to the first round here on the Blitz Angle. You guys will be seeing this tomorrow. If you're not watching it live, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Let's just say the first round was full of chaos. Bryce, I'm going to start with you. What is your overall take from the first round of the NFL draft?
That no matter how good you ever feel about your mock draft, just you will never be right. It is absolutely insane. Guys were going earlier than expected. Guys were going later than expected, but it was an awesome draft. It was fun and lot of stuff to talk about, good and bad, depending on landing spots. But it was the NFL draft, and I can never complain about it. So.
No, you can't. I mean, this was one of the more fun drafts that I've locked in for during my lifetime with the amount of chaos of players going in different spots, the unknown of this draft, and the amount of trades we got at the end of the first round. Joe, what were your thoughts on this draft?
Yeah, I mean, it took until pick 8 until we were like, well, other than the Mendoza at 1, pick 8 with Jordan Tyson to the Saints until we were like, oh, well, we kind of saw that coming. Everything was out of place. I think we had all the players, the top 10 players kind of went top 10, but in a order nobody saw coming. The Chiefs surprised us moving up to number 6 to take the lane. The Cowboys getting Caleb Downs fall right in their lap, and they squeezed up one pick to draft him, and then you had a couple players that just fell right into the perfect spot. Vega Ione to Baltimore, Monroe Freeling to Carolina, Dylan Thieneman to Chicago. So you got some odd picks, and you have some that just made total sense. Um, yeah, I mean a fun draft. They're all fun, but some interesting picks in there for sure.
All right, so we're going to go through and discuss some of our biggest winners first. Each of us are going to give one team that we thought was the biggest winner from the NFL draft. Bryce, I'm going to start with you. Who won the draft?
Yeah, I'm going with the Browns off rip. I really like what the Browns did. I mean, in my mock draft, I had the Browns at 6 taking Spencer Fano and at 24 taking Concepcion. And I said if they do both these, I'd be really happy with their draft. Not only did they get both of those guys, but they were able to trade back 3 spots and gain some capital and still land Fano. So I think they landed 2 elite players at good prices and gained some capital in the process. I really like the Browns 2 picks. Those are definitely the top team that comes to my mind.
Yeah, I got to go with the Dallas Cowboys. I thought what the Cowboys were able to do tonight was spectacular. Landing Caleb Downs outside the top 10 was a great move for a secondary that desperately needed a leader, a playmaker in there. And Downs is going to exactly be that guy. And then later on, they get Malachi Lawrence, a really good speed rusher off the edge that's going to give them some more pass rush help that they desperately need. So now you have a good interior presence with Quinnen Williams, and now you get those two guys paired along with the talent they already have in Dallas. Dallas is really trying to rebuild a strong defense with a already talented offense where they locked up George Pickens as well. Today was a massive win for Cowboys fans and the Cowboys themselves today. So really good job over there in Dallas, which is surprising because it feels like they always have a really bad draft in the first round.
I will say, like Makai, I think shouldn't have fallen that far, but that is my favorite fit. Like not a total winner because I would say the Browns, but my favorite fit or favorite pick is Caleb Downs 11 to the Cowboys. I think that's an absolute home run hitter from a value standpoint, scheme standpoint, fit standpoint. I mean, that's just amazing.
Yep, Joe, who's your biggest winner?
My biggest winner, well, we started off pre-draft, Bryce and I talking about who had the most pressure on them in this draft, and I said the Chiefs to get back to their winning ways, their Super Bowl contention. And what do? They come in here and knock it out of the park. So they trade up slightly, take Mansour Delane, getting a true number one corner after their secondary was wiped out in the offseason. And then late, they turn around and pick Peter Woods. He can secure the middle, up the middle of the defense, pass rush, run stop, beats double teams. He's just a menace on the D line. Sit behind Chris Jones. I mean, he'll play with Chris Jones, but learn from Chris Jones, who's at one time was the best in the business up the middle. And the value is incredible. Woods fell so far. Like we talked about, he was a top 10 player at the beginning of the draft process. And I watched him again and again to see why he was falling, and I couldn't find it. He was my 6th overall player. Delane was my 7th overall player. So the Chiefs got 2 top 10 players in my eyes. It's a slam dunk for them to be one of the biggest winners.
Can't complain. I think they got 2 really good football players, and the Chiefs just needed to add a lot more talent on the defensive side of the ball. And I think you mentioned the depth of that interior defensive line group. That's going to be really big for them. Sure, they didn't necessarily address edge rusher, but adding 2 playmakers on the defensive side is definitely a really big win again. Rome, we appreciate you tuning in for basically 4 hours tonight, dog. You were awesome. Really hope to see you during our live streams as well. What were you going to say, Bryce?
I think the only thing that held me back about the Chiefs is I was uncomfortable how they moved up for Monster Delaney. That was my only that's the only reason why I wouldn't say the complete winner to me. If they stayed at 9 and landed him and then got Woods, I'd have been like, oh, they're probably my winner as well. I just didn't really like how they moved up for him, but can't complain. You lose the 3rd round pick and you get, like Joe said, 2 studs that we both love. So I still think it's a win regardless.
Yeah, so that leads us into our next subject, the best picks of the draft. Bryce, we all know what you're going to say. Why is it Mekhi Lemon to the Eagles?
Well, I'm going to go back. Like I said last time, Caleb Downs to the Cowboys would probably be my favorite pick. I guess I jumped a little too early on the last one, but that'd probably be my favorite pick just because I think he's the best defensive player in the class, and I have him as the 2nd best player in the entire draft. And you get him at 11 at a team that needs a safety, that scheme fits perfectly. I think that is literally a home run draft pick. Mekhi also a good pick, but Caleb Downs would be my favorite one in this draft.
Yeah, I personally think Dylan Thieneman going 25th to the Bears was an absolute highway robbery of a pick. I mean, they were able to land the safety 2 in this class that we were mocking close to 11 and 12 a lot of the time before this. He's an athletic freak. The Bears had a ton of turnover at safety, and I honestly think they improved that position. Jaquan Brisker, Kevin Byard were good last year. What they added, his freaking name's slipping out of my head. You got Bryant now in the secondary paired with Dylan Thieneman. That's a great secondary right there, the safety position. They already have Jalen Johnson at cornerback. I do think I wouldn't put it past them to add another corner here on day 2 or 3. But the Bears, very good starts to the draft, landing Thieneman at pick 25, which really helps them jumpstart this new secondary heading into this year.
Joe, what would you say?
I'm going to go all the way back up to the top 5 with Carnell Tate to the Titans.
Oh.
So this is one I don't think many of us saw coming. But you have your franchise quarterback you drafted last year. You bring in a wizard offensive coach, Brian Daboll. Wan'Dale Robinson, gives him a volume target to attack, and then you supplement him with Carnell Tate, who I had as my number 1 receiver since day 1. And he can move all over the place, gives your young quarterback a young wide receiver, a wide receiver 1 to grow with, to create a relationship with and take off. I mean, they'll take Cam Ward to the next level, and Carnell Tate, I think, was a slam dunk there. Nobody saw coming.
Dude, and the interesting part, we talk about the best picks. Colton Hood and Caden McDonald were the 2 guys in the draft room that weren't selected this year. I'm a big guy on Colton Hood. I know McDonald we projected to go to the Bears, so very interesting there. Now let's flip the script. The worst drafts of the first round. Bryce, who are you going with as the worst draft?
Man, this one throws me off a little bit because I would have said the Jets before the Omar Cooper trade, but I like that move. So I can't really say them, even though it's hard when you have 3 first-round picks to be a loser. Like, you have to do really bad.
Historically bad.
Man, I don't know. This will answer this one and the next question. I'm just going to go with Seattle. I absolutely hate that move. Makes me want to throw up. I think letting K9 walk to draft Jadarian Price in the first round is certainly a choice. Price is already my RB4. I'm already lower on him than most people. And I know Joe said he has a second or third round grade on him. I have a third round grade on him. I don't think in any world he should be a late first round pick. So I just positional value is one thing. Trying to fill a need is another thing. Just reaching on a guy for whatever reason is a completely other thing. So I think that's the worst pick, worst draft.
So here's the thing is I think you're right. They are kind of intertwined with how the draft went. The Jets, 3 first-round picks is a haul. We'll call it what it is. As we don't really disagree with the Kenyon Sadiq pick the most, and I think that was a bad pick by them. Caleb Banks to the Vikings was a confusing pick for me. And, it seems like they want to try to fix this interior defensive line position. Last year, they brought in Hargrave and Jonathan Allen, 2 guys that were power rushers, really bad against the run. That experiment did not work at all for them. And then Caleb Banks is a big interior presence that, no production, struggled with injuries, but they needed to replace Harrison Smith in the secondary. He was such a massive part in what they do. And Dylan Thieneman was sitting there in their laps saying, pick me, Minnesota, pick me. And they decided to go Caleb Banks, who, to be honest, I'm not sure he gets selected here. The only other defensive tackle that got picked was Peter Woods, and all of us still had Woods higher than Caleb Banks. So looking at this, the Vikings, I think, made a mistake going Caleb Banks over Dylan Thieneman in a position where, sure, they need defensive tackle help, but look at day 2. You have Lee Hunter. You got Orange from Iowa State. You got, what's his name? Christian Miller as well. Like, there's a ton of big interior defensive linemen that can stop the run, can potentially power rush. And I think Caleb Banks here in the spot was a little bit of a reach. And, Minnesota could have been a trade down candidate, accumulated more draft capital, and then made that decision later in the first. But they drafted him really high. And this is not a great look after Kwesi missed on some picks in the prior years. Really bad.
Joe?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with your trend of reaching on players here with mine. And Ty Simpson, 13th overall to the Rams.
Right.
Now, I like the fit. The fit is perfect for the scheme, the style player he is, but he's not going to play. So do you really need to draft Ty Simpson, 13th overall? I don't think so. They also, once upon a time, had the 29th overall pick where they may have been able to get him there. But obviously, they made the trade with the Chiefs. It's just too rich for me. I don't think the Jets were going to take him at 16. I think the only person they were in battle with for Ty Simpson was the Cardinals, which would have been maybe a late trade up. So taking him at 13 seemed way rich for me. They could have traded down and still got him, or maybe got him in the second round. We'll never know. But it was just a little rich. I may eat my words on that one day if he turns out being great, but something I didn't see coming, wasn't really a fan of. I don't know that that's going to help them get a ring in 2026.
I think that's going to come down to 2 things. If the Rams fall short this year because they could have used another receiver, then it's like, dang, like they messed that up. Like Mekhi Lemon could have been a game changer here, or knock on wood, it doesn't happen, but Devontae gets hurt and the wide receiver room is looking thin. You're like, could he really use another wide receiver here? But then if they win, or if Stafford retires after this year and Ty Simpson goes on to have a great career, then you're like, okay, I guess it was worth it. So we'll find out in due time, but I completely get what you're saying. It's just weird how they were kind of like all in, and now they're kind of like, we're going to go for the future a little bit.
Right. They just totally let their foot off the gas.
Yeah, so I'm completely mixed on it. I was out on it first, as you guys know by my reaction, but I see the vision, and I'm a Ty Simpson believer, and I think McVay could do good things with him. So,
yeah, this is the spot for him to figure it out. And I do want to mention some, there was some other picks I disagree with. Jeremiah Love to the Cardinals. We discussed this one during the live stream. Like, building a roster with the Cardinals, and there's a lot of holes on this Cardinals team, and you go running back at 3.
Yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow.
Not great. And they are paying Tyler Algier $12 million per year. They brought back James Conner, and they have Trey Benson. So I'm looking at this Cardinals backfield, and it's the most expensive backfield in the NFL. They don't have an offensive line that's great. Their quarterback situations, Gardner Minshew and Jacoby Brissett, they don't have a great pass rush either. So Arizona,
Not to mention that they're probably going to the team defense is so bad they're probably going to be down every game and going to have to throw and can't even run the ball anyway.
So here's the thing, though, is like you look at the three teams that are pretty obviously tanking for a quarterback: the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Cardinals. Cardinals did a horrible job tonight compared to the other two teams. The Dolphins, Chris Johnson, good cornerback. We're not as high on Caden Proctor as I think these scouts were, but at least they tried to land a franchise left tackle. The Jets, they go out and get a wide receiver. They go out and get a tight end. They get the top probably edge rusher in the draft. The Cardinals, here's Jeremiah Love. Great player. He's a running back, though. And you already paid Tyler Algier $12 million. That's the problem I have with the pick when they have that many holes. That's not how you retool a roster for a potential quarterback next year.
Right. And when you're picking third overall, and you know that all offseason, Jeremiah Love didn't just jump to the top of the board. It just seems like they weren't prepared for this because they sat on the clock waiting for what we think was a trade. There was rumors of trades and nothing materialized. So they just sit and pick Jeremiah Love of all people. They were in a bad spot the way the board fell, but it just felt like they didn't have any conviction with what they were doing there.
Yeah. I didn't like it at all. A pick that I did really like were two back-to-back picks, Sonny Styles and Jordan Tyson going to the Commanders and then the Saints. I think, with Tyson going to the Saints in particular, like you try to just build around Tyler Shuck and see what you can get there and, see, hey, is this the guy? And now you have Chris Olave. You got Tyson there. They signed Travis Etienne this offseason. Kellen Moore's there. The Saints are ready to win. And while I'm not ready to say, hey, they might win the NFC South this year, don't be surprised if the Saints are competing for a division title this year.
100%. I agree.
All right. Well, day 2 now. This is the last subject. Who are some of those top available players that you guys are looking at that, should have no business being on the board or going to be early potential trade up candidates? What are you guys thinking?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not going to hesitate. I was going to say, I'm not going to hesitate. Jermon McCoy. The injuries are there, but he's way talented than any single player available left. When he was
Delaney with McCoy, do it.
What?
Yeah, I do. Now it's just like I'm just thinking about it. Like Delaney, McCoy, Peter Woods.
Yeah. No, I think he was going around like 10 to 15 when he was considered healthy, and obviously you have to play that into a factor, but I think that the world of this guy, he was arguably my CB1 before this news came out.
His 2024 tape was the best in the cornerback class.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So I think whoever can land him on day 2, especially if you're not in win now mode, if a Dolphins or something, could be special.
Man, it's frisky. Joe, what are you thinking?
So immediately following the end of the draft, I just put out a tweet of my best available, right straight off my board at JL Sports 24. But same like Bryce said, my top available player, Jermon McCoy, and then I have Manuel McNeil Warren, who had a lot of first round hype, as a bone crushing safety, and then CJ Allen, Jacob Rodriguez, the two linebackers, off ball linebackers, especially Rodriguez. I thought that he would slip into the end of the first round. He's just a ball magnet at linebacker. And then I see Avion Terrell and then Denzel Boston. A lot of people had Denzel Boston as the 4th wide receiver, big bodied guy, can win contested catches. Speed was a little bit of a question of his, but he's still separated in college. So the teams who got left out of those wide receivers early, Boston could be a good pickup for them.
The Raiders are a team I look at that are just waiting to try to get Denzel Boston.
Yeah. 100%.
The Jets, the Cardinals, and the Titans are all sitting there. I wouldn't be surprised if a team is looking at the Raiders heading in tomorrow and saying, we have to leap the Raiders to go get Denzel Boston because the Raiders will pick him very quickly. I would not be surprised if they go Pons or Elijah Surratt just because of the continuity potential there. But, you look at a team like Cleveland, I don't think they could be done at receiver. Houston,
No.
meh. Right. There's other teams that would be 100% in the market to move up into that early round 2 range. As far as my best available go, Colton Hood, already mentioned him. I'm surprised he didn't go in the first round. He was my cornerback 3. Entering this, he's a really good press corner, physical guy at the line of scrimmage that can play some really good man coverage. I think he has a good fit, and there's a lot of cornerback needy teams up in those first 10 picks, so I don't think he'll last very long. But a sneaky, very, very sneaky player to watch is Traden Stukes tomorrow. How early does he go in this class with him being that third safety? There was some buzz of him ending up in the first round. That did not happen, but I think he probably goes within the top 10 picks as well. And while round 1 was very entertaining, round 2 is going to be really entertaining as well. A lot of these guys are around the same range and going to be very, very fun to watch around these NFL teams.
I was gonna add too how I obviously when I started I just brought up Jermon McCoy, and I think we can all agree there. And Joe said Jacob Rodriguez. He's 20 on my big board. I'm probably higher on Jacob Rodriguez than most. I think if he went to the Bills at 25, I thought that would have been perfect. But the last guy, Cassius Howell, I brought up his name quite a bit, but I truly love this man. I mean, he's 17 on my big board.
Wow.
You could look at it, his small arms and see the history of it. But people doubted him when he went to A&M too, and he was arguably the best pass rusher in the country last year. I think he's just so good with his moves and speed, and I think he's just such a well-rounded edge rusher, and he's going to play to his length, and whoever gets him is getting a steal. 2 years ago, I said how Cooper DeJean should be a first-round pick, and he fell to the second round, and look how that turned out. Last year, I said the same with Nicky Manwari. So this year, Cassius Howell is my guy. I'm calling my shot with that. So it's one of those guys I think should have been a first-round pick. He fell to the second round, and he's gonna be a guy. So that's kind of who I'm riding with, and those are really my top 3, I would say. So McCoy, Rodriguez, and Howell would be my favorite 3 for tomorrow.
Awesome. Well, hey, make sure you're staying up to date with all of our Twitters. We really appreciate you guys that tuned in to the live stream and those of you guys watching on YouTube right now for our reactions for the first round of the NFL draft. We'll catch you guys all next time on the Blitz Angle.